Every night, your brain conjures worlds that don't exist. Flying, falling, talking to people who've been dead for years. For most of human history, nobody knew why. So they made up answers, and some of them were terrifying. Let's start in ancient Mesopotamia, one of the earliest civilizations to write anything down at all. To the Babylonians and Sumerians, dreams weren't random noise. They were messages, sent directly from the gods. There was even a goddess dedicated entirely to dreams named Mamu, and she was believed to have the power to reveal the future to anyone who slept in the right sacred space. This wasn't a casual belief. It was taken so seriously that an entire profession existed around it. Priests called Baru specialized in dream interpretation, and their job carried enormous weight. If a king dreamed of a coming battle, the Baru's interpretation could decide whether an army marched or stayed home. Get it wrong, and it wasn't just embarrassing. It could cost the priest his life, or cost the kingdom a war. Now travel to ancient Egypt, where dreams were treated as a literal doorway to another reality. Egyptians believed that while the body slept, it was possible to slip into a parallel world, a place where gods, spirits, and the souls of the dead could speak directly to the living. Because of this, some Egyptians deliberately tried to trigger powerful dreams. They would travel to specific temples and sleep there on purpose, hoping a god would visit them in the night. This practice was called incubation, and it was essentially an appointment with the divine scheduled through sleep. To make sense of what they saw, Egyptian priests kept dream dictionaries, actual written texts that translated dream symbols into real-world meanings. These weren't vague guesses. They were detailed, specific, and taken as fact. Dreaming that your teeth were falling out wasn't just unsettling, it was a sign that someone in your family was in danger. Dreaming of drowning could mean purification, or it could mean disaster, depending on the exact details. The ancient Greeks had their own theory, and it's one of the strangest of all. They believed every dream traveled to the sleeper through one of two gates. One gate was made of ivory, the other was made of horn. Dreams that passed through the ivory gate were false. They were tricks, illusions, the mind playing games with itself. But dreams that passed through the gate of horn were true. Real warnings sent by the gods about things that were genuinely going to happen. Here's the terrifying part. There was no way to know in the moment which gate a dream had come from. You could wake up from a nightmare about your own death and have absolutely no idea if it was meaningless noise or a genuine prophecy. Imagine carrying that uncertainty around all day. Across the ocean, many indigenous cultures throughout North America saw dreams in a completely different light. To many of these cultures, dreams weren't separate from real life at all. They were simply another form of it. Some believed that during sleep, the soul actually left the body and traveled to other realms, meeting spirits, ancestors, and other souls along the way. Under this belief, a bad dream wasn't just an unpleasant experience to shake off in the morning. It could mean something had gone wrong on that spiritual journey, that a wandering spirit had come too close, or that your own soul had encountered something dangerous while it was away from your body. Meanwhile, in ancient China, dream theory was deeply tied to the idea of the soul's balance. Many believed a person had multiple souls, and one of them, the Hun soul, was connected to consciousness and thought. During sleep, it was believed this soul could wander freely outside the body. This idea led to a genuinely eerie piece of folklore. Some healers warned that if you woke a sleeping person too suddenly, especially by shouting their name, you risked trapping their wandering soul outside their body. It might not make it back in time. The person could wake up, but some part of them, their Hun soul, could be left behind. What's remarkable is that almost none of these civilizations were in direct contact with each other, yet they arrived at strikingly similar conclusions. Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, Indigenous North America, ancient China, separated by oceans and thousands of miles, yet every single one of them agreed on one core idea. Dreams were not nothing. They were not meaningless static generated by a resting brain. They were a doorway, a message, a visit from somewhere else. It would take thousands of years and the eventual invention of neuroscience before humans arrived at a very different kind of answer. One involving neurons, memory consolidation, and something called rapid eye movement sleep. Today we can explain the mechanics of dreaming in exquisite biological detail. And yet, some nights lying awake after a genuinely strange dream, one that felt too vivid, too specific, too real to be random firing neurons. It's hard not to wonder, just for a second, if the old explanation felt more true.